Forget 400 par, the BJP is struggling to cross the majority mark, and now it's virtually certain that the BJP on its own will not be in majority. It's hovering somewhere near the 240 mark. In fact, the NDA has also been struggling to cross the 300 mark. I'm Barkha, you're with the Mojo Story. Welcome to a very, very dramatic election morning. Usually by around noon time, we have a clear picture of who's winning and who's losing. But the only thing we knew by noon today is that the spirited fight that had been put by the opposition was reflecting in the numbers in a way that it had simply not reflected in the exit polls. Other than Orissa, most exit polls got all of their predictions wrong. Mamata Banerjee defied the polls to hold on to Bengal. In Uttar Pradesh, where the Samajwadi Party and the Congress alliance had been projected to get only between 16 and 17, the India alliance actually surged ahead of the BJP. It's been a big setback for the BJP in the Hindi-speaking heartland area, normally considered to be its natural bastion. There's a lot to unpack. Let me introduce two of the finest political minds on the program today without any delay. Yogendra Yadav is with us. It has to be said before I start my conversation with Yogendra ji that Yogendra Yadav throughout our travels kept making the argument that the BJP would fall below 270, and not many people or not everybody was ready to believe him. He has been proven right, and to that extent, in all the contestations between the different predictions that were made, prophecies that were made, forecasts that were made, he is clearly the winner of that contest. Also joining us is Yashwant Desmukh. Yashwant Desmukh, C Voter Survey, did have predictions that haven't fructified in the actual result, and we'll try and understand from him why that was the case, what went happen, what did pollsters get wrong. But let's actually focus on the result right now. As I've said, the Modi's BJP has lost the majority mark. It's hovering somewhere near 240. The seats are going up and down every hour. The counting is still taking place. The NDA has been struggling to cross 300. Yogendra ji, can we actually take a look at the national picture first? Yogendra ji, what is your big takeaway? And again, congratulations, you called it right. What is your big takeaway from the result so far?
Thank you, Barkha. My getting it right or wrong was always a very small matter. I mean, we are small people with our little small egos. But, one thing I've realized doing some forecasting in this country for years, when you get it right, people applaud you and then forget about it in 24 hours. If you get it wrong, people remember it for 24 years. So I've got it right this time. And it's a matter of 24 hours. It's not something very big. These things happen. To my mind, that's not the real story. For me, the real satisfaction is, number one, that the electoral system still works in this country. To be absolutely honest, I had dreadful last 48 hours after the exit polls. Not because I believe the exit polls, I must say. I said, and I went public yesterday saying clearly why I completely disagree with all the exit polls. But my real dread was that something else has been, that some manipulation may have taken place, and that exit polls may have been there to cover it up. It's a very bad accusation, and I apologize for that. I've been proven wrong, and I'm so happy that I'm proven wrong, that EVMs work, that the way people vote is reflected in the outcome. That's a great thing for our country, for our democracy. And the biggest of all, Barkha, is that this country has won. Democracy has won. In Hindi, I would say, Yashwant would understand because he's a Hindi wala like me. Tantra par lok ki vijay is loktantra. The tantra, the system, that sought to emasculate everything in this democracy. What kind of a contest did we see? Where one party has the entire media lined up to be its spokesperson, where one party has 100 times more resources than anyone else, where one party controls the entire machinery, from administrative to police to ED to, unfortunately, even the election commission. And in that kind of a contest, if the ruling party ends up with a figure of 240, there cannot be more humiliating defeat. I said it on your show last time, Barkha, that if BJP gets one seat less than 300, it's a moral defeat. If they get one seat less than 272, it's a political defeat. And if they get one seat less than 250, it's a personal defeat for the Prime Minister. And I think all three have happened today. It's a
So you
very
are,
big day in our country.
so you are saying this is a personal defeat for Modi?
Personal defeat as well. Indeed. Barkha, the simple logic is, suppose BJP was where the exit polls said BJP would be. Who would be credited? Who would we be talking about? What would Yashwant Bhai be speaking about? What would everyone else be speaking about? And not to mention all these anchors of these channels, the notional media. I don't call it national media, it's notional media. The notional media would have been saying Modi, 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 Modi. So the simple logic is the one who would have got the credit is the one who has to take the blame. So clearly, it is Modi's personal defeat because he staked everything on it. And it is indeed a clear political defeat of the BJP, given the circumstances. If the Indian cricket team, which is going for T20 and has a match with the American cricket team, which was born yesterday, and if Indian cricket team in the 19th or the 20th over manages to win the match, would you call it a victory or defeat? So yes, NDA has numbers more than 272, but that is clearly it's a mandate against the NDA, mandate against the BJP, mandate against the Prime Minister.
I'm going to come to Yashwant in just a moment, but I'm very relieved that you did say that your accusation about the electoral process was an unfair one, was a misplaced one. Because the one thing that I said it on Twitter, ki jo bhi jeete, jo bhi hare, somehow I had that faith. I had that faith always in the electoral process. And if the one thing I take away, Yogendra ji, is that the voter of India is irrepressible. Kisi se nahi darti, kisi se nahi darta. And आज मुझे जो लगता है बार बार चुनाव में आई थिंक वंस आई हैड शेयर्ड दिस विद यू कि लोगों ने कहा आक्रोश नहीं अंकुश कि ठीक है हम दिस इज नॉट वी आर नॉट रेजिंग अगेंस्ट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर बट वी डोंट लाइक अनब्राइडल्ड पावर इवन बीजेपी वोटर्स मेड दिस पॉइंट
Yes, Barkha, one clarification. I actually never made that accusation. I have revealed to you my personal apprehension, which I did because, as you know, for 10 years, I have carried out a personal crusade against the EVM conspiracy theories. All my friends are annoyed with me. They said in 2019, Modi won because of EVM. I said, no, people of India voted for him. Let's accept this reality. So I have carried out a personal crusade against EVM conspiracy theories. And I'm so very happy and relieved that this continues to be the case. I must confess, and that's the confession I made. In the last 48 hours, I had this apprehension. Even last night when people spoke to me, I said, no, I don't still believe it, but let the results come. So it was not an accusation. I wouldn't make it. And I'm so happy that it hasn't come about. On the second thing, I really think what you're saying is indeed the story of the election. Opposition parties have done well. They will take credit. They should take credit. But the real credit should go to the public, to ordinary people. They actually fought more than opposition parties. Honestly, opposition parties didn't have the space to do anything. They were worried about whether there would be ED raid tomorrow, whether their accounts will work, whether their chief minister would be taken away, whether their candidate will surrender the ticket tomorrow. In that situation, and then not to speak of the nasty letters from the Election Commission, which incidentally has performed an utterly shameful and disgraceful role in this election. So in the face of all this, opposition parties were very severely constricted. It's the people who came out. And as you said, Ankush, if someone in UP told me something, I may have said it on your show earlier. I asked him, कि मोदी जी 2 पंचवर्षीय कर चुके हैं, अब तीसरी पंचवर्षीय मांग रहे हैं, which is to say tenure, second tenure, third मांग रहे हैं. What do you think? He said, देखिए, जब हम प्रधान बनाते हैं, तो पहली बार वो प्रधान डर के सीधा काम करता है. दूसरी बार उसको प्रधान बना देते हैं, तो वो गोली देना सीख जाता है, 2 नंबर के काम करता है. और तीसरी बार बना देते हैं तो सर पे चढ़ के डंडा चलाता है. This wisdom of the Indian electorate has finally trumped prevailed. And if we are not seeing a result where BJP is down to 100 seats or so, it is simply because of the huge structural advantage that BJP began with, continued to hold on to, and the various limitations that opposition suffered from. But it is clearly a massive political defeat, undoubtedly.
Yashwant, before we come to the political messaging, I should ask you about the exit polls because the opposition was very angry with the exit polls. They said ये बिल्कुल गलत साबित होंगे और गलत साबित हुए. The opposition's own number of 295 for the India Alliance has not come true. But Mamta Banerjee saying we'll win Bengal, that happened. Akhilesh Yadav saying our alliance will do very well in UP. Not just did they do well, they are ahead of the BJP as an alliance, right? What do you think went wrong? Where do you think the exit polls went wrong, including your own?
Well, first of all, let me congratulate Yogenji for getting the national scene right. He put his neck that BJP is not crossing 272, and that is where I say that he is getting it right.
Absolutely.
I'm actually happy if you will see in that way the kind of accusations which were being aimed at us. For me, I mean, Yogenji knows that I am in personally being prosecuted for almost like 30 years. That's another thing. But I'm happy. At least now I am not sponsored by Modi, right? I mean, please, for God's sake, it's not like that. Second thing, where I would like to actually not argue or debate, but I would like to understand Yogenji's point, which he's trying to make. Is there any All India story really? Because I don't see anything beyond. See, Bengal and Maharashtra are the, I have always maintained they are the battleground. Each and every seat will count. And in the last 1.5 years, in fact, I was the only one with our survey saying Maharashtra is a bad deal for BJP. They are getting it all wrong in Maharashtra, So barring Bengal and UP, is there any state which is the same messaging, same conveyance, whatever, from female to downtrodden to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, whatever equationing that we are going to analyze afterwards in oversimplifying the mandate, Is it anything that has worked outside UP and Bengal? Bengal is continuation of where we left the last assembly election. Our numbers were showing a revival of left on Congress a bit in terms of vote share. About exit polls were mapping about 16%. I think they are crashed down to 10%. Punar mushko bava wahan pe. So basically, Bengal has only repeated what happened in the last assembly election, that all the anti-BJP votes, particularly the minorities, refused to get split. And they went lock, stock and barrel to Didi. Didi was always a strong player. She continued with her march and she managed to hold on, or not only managed, probably increase her tally, just like she did in the assembly elections. The only thing which is like uncracked, unsolved, and problematic is Uttar Pradesh. Problematic in a sense that why did we not capture Uttar Pradesh? Now, capturing, as Yogenji would understand, we did not predict 50% vote share, Yogenji. We predicted 44.4% for BJP, and they are right now at 44.2 for the NDA. So I think if Yogenji would be looking at my data, wo mere peeth pe haath rakh ke molenge, well done. So vote to seat thing is something which is crazy. Now, what did happen that, the vote to share, vote to seat and other things worked in all other states. The states where we predicted BJP lost big time. States where we predicted BJP is making a great headway, new grounds, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, we predicted a sweep for NDA. All those things held on. We said that BJP is crossing a threshold in Kerala. It will not convert much, but they might end up winning 1 or 2 seats happening over there. Same thing in case of Tamil Nadu. We said the same thing, that, okay, unlikely to open the account, maybe 1 seat. They are just leading on 1 seat, not BJP, but basically their alliance partner, not beyond that. So if you look into the All India picture, state by state, consider this as a 30 examination papers. I'm talking about myself, Yogenji. I will say, you will say, you will check it out and don't go on the seat share. Go by your gold standard, what you always kind of maintain, that it's the vote share. I have scored 100% votes, 100% results, 100% score in 26 out of the 30 territories, universes that we were analyzing.
Let me pick
partially wrong.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
2, I got it completely wrong. And one of them I was expecting, I may or may not get it wrong. That is your West Bengal, because it is touch and go. I said that I just unable to decode it. UP is something which we have to analyze. And UP alone has to be analyzed in a different perspective, because in the vote share, BJP has got the vote share what we have predicted, but seat share has not got into that direction.
Okay,
So
there will be Yeah.
kind of a anti-BJP vote polarization for SP Congress that has helped Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, that has helped Akhilesh and Congress in Uttar Pradesh.
Le-
BSP's vote share has not touched. We were expecting them to touch about 14%. They have polled only about 10%. So
Correct.
their 4% drop is there. That kind of opens up the window to analyze that probably this is a further bipolarization of the Uttar Pradesh mandate, where,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably I have to also look into the fact that generally the Dalit votes who do not vote for Samajwadi Party in UP might have voted for the Congress candidate. This is why number of Congress seats
W-
are actually very surprising.
One
Nobody was
thing.
giving Congress more than 3 seats in UP in that way.
Yeah.
But their lead right now
Okay.
in 7, 8, even 9 sometimes, the leads are fluctuating. It only
Let
shows
me.
that in
Huh.
those seats, the Dalits have also shifted to the Congress, and that is something which is interesting.
You,
Largely
you know,
speaking, that's what but I don't see
Yashwant, I'm
any
just.
all
Yeah.
India kind of
And
trend.
that's the last point I want to take to Yogendra ji. The post-mortem over
Barkha, I
exit
can't
polls.
hear you.
Can you hear me? Yogendra ji, can you hear me? You can hear me.
योगेंद्र जी,
Okay.
आपको आ रही है आवाज?
हाँ, उनको आ रही है. Yogendra, you can hear me, right? Okay. Okay. Now, Yashwant, just we just reconnect
I'm
if
getting
you
your
can.
voice. योगेंद्र जी की
Okay.
भी आवाज मुझे नहीं आ रही है.
One second. Just ask Yashwant to reconnect. In the meantime, let me
I hope you
let
can
me.
hear me now, Yashwant Bhai. Can you?
Okay, I can hear you. I could hear him and I can hear you. I'm sure he'll reconnect. Yogendra ji, I'll pick up the last point that, the postmortem of exit polls can be done in detail at some other time because it's a set of valid questions, but there's a lot more to talk about right now. What is going to happen to the nature of politics? What is the larger message from the elections? And I would like to ask you, जो उन्होंने अंत में बोला वो एक वैलिड क्वेश्चन है. वो क्वेश्चन ये है कि पैन इंडिया ट्रेंड नहीं था. So when you say that this is the big personal defeat for Modi, the question he raised was Bengal, Mamta fortified. Uttar Pradesh then is the big story, and to some degree Rajasthan, where there was expected to be a complete wipeout for the Congress, that didn't happen. Karnataka, that wipeout didn't happen. What for you is the message from the voter? Containment of overarching power I see as one. मैंने आपको शायद ये बोला था कि जब मैं वोटर से बात करती थी इन माय ट्रैवल्स, आई वुड आस्क देम व्हाट दे लाइक्ड, व्हाट दे डिडंट लाइक अबाउट द गवर्नमेंट, एंड दे वुड लिस्ट व्हाट दे लाइक्ड. पर उनके खुद ही वोटर्स कहते थे कि नौकरी, लाइवलीहुड, उनके वोटर्स. और फिर वो कहते थे ये हिंदू मुस्लिम बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, हमें नहीं अच्छा लग रहा. And I wrote this, I said this. What is the pan India message? Is there a pan India message?
But I was surprised when I heard Yashwant Bhai, and I really wanted him to listen to this.
I hope he'll reconnect. Can we please call Yashwant and ask him to
because I
reconnect?
was
Yeah.
very surprised to hear that there is no national story. Here is a national story. It's in front of my eyes on this piece of paper, which is
sorry,
national
Barkha.
story in any
I'm sorry because the data
Yashwant Bhai,
which is
can
coming
you
on the
now
screen is
hear
also
me?
going through our data center. So there was some query on the two others coming in Bihar. That is
Okay.
Communist
Yogendra
Party.
ji,
So
you can hear me now. You can hear me now because
I
Yogendra
can
ji
hear
wanted
you
to.
loud and clear.
Yogendra ji wanted to respond to you. Please, Yogendra ji, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely. I
was
would
saying,
like to
Yashwant
hear
Bhai,
that. Yeah.
I was surprised to hear that you don't see any national story. Maybe you haven't had time as yet to look at the vote share figure. What happens in a national story? In a national story, you see a somewhat uniform swing cutting across various states. And that's exactly what has happened. I'm surprised that we haven't noticed it yet. Uttar Pradesh, you're right to say, BJP lost 8% votes. Is that only a Uttar Pradesh story? No. Maharashtra, NDA loses 9% votes. Bengal, BJP loses 3% vote. Bihar, NDA loses 9% vote. Karnataka, 6% loss. Rajasthan, 10% loss. Himachal Pradesh, 14% loss. Uttarakhand, 4% loss. Haryana, 12% loss. Jharkhand, 8% loss. What else is a national story? The simple fact is BJP has lost significant chunk of vote share, cutting across state divide in that entire region from Karnataka and Maharashtra to Bihar and Jharkhand, that entire region. with the exception of Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. These are the only two places where BJP has had no loss of vote share so far that I have checked. Everywhere else, there is a loss of anything between 4 to 10%. That is the national story. And the national story is that after 10 years of BJP rule, after 10 years of a certain kind of narrative that was fed, people said, enough. Now we want to go back to livelihood issues. In some cases, livelihood issues favor the BJP. It works for them. In most cases, it doesn't work for them. That's clearly what is happening. And please read all this. I would implore you, Yashwant Bhai, please read all this in the context of the money, of the media support, and of the brazen use of election machinery. If in the face of all this, I really hope you would not deny that, the utter shamelessness with which the entire system was used to promote the BJP, if in the context of that, the ruling party, so this is like Putin losing 10% votes in Russia. If in the context of all this, they lose systematically across a whole geography, there is a story, the national story of disenchantment. I would not call it anger yet, national story of ankush, of wanting to limit the ruler, expressing dissatisfaction, expressing disenchantment, not yet anger, because if it was anger, we would have had 1977 kind of result. There clearly is. If there was a national story in 2004, there is a national story this time. Why shy away from this? The other point about exit polls,
No, I'm not shying away. I'm not shying away, Yogendra. You are getting me wrong. I'm not shying away. You see, 70, almost 68%. If you look out our Mammotian India Today poll, 68% household saying हमारा घर मुश्किल से चल रहा है, महंगाई की दिक्कत हो रही है. हमने कभी इन डेटा को नहीं रिपोर्ट किया, ऐसा बात नहीं है. We have always said the economic distress is there. But when we asked them the question, who do you think is going to give a better solution to that? They did not name Rahul Gandhi. They named Narendra Modi. And I think where probably I have a disconnect with your argument is that the losses that you are counting is from 2019. The losses that I am counting is from my own estimations. It's like, because we are doing a tracker, we have been reporting, ये तो इनका नुकसान इतना हो रहा है. It's not that कि उनका नुकसान जितना हमने estimate किया तो उससे ज्यादा हो रहा है. Whatever we were estimated, हर जगह पे नुकसान हो रहा है. But then after 10 years of Yogen Bhai, 10 years of being in power, there would be attrition. So if they had polled, say for example, in Himachal 60% plus vote, and they are polling 50% votes plus votes. If they had polled somewhere 65 and they are polling 55, yes, there is a 10% drop from in the 10 years. But the fact remains that they are polling 50% plus votes in so many states, even right now. And again, I hope you will be happy and to know into that detail that we never predicted more than 40. We predicted 48.7% votes for the BJP. And they are right now at 48.65. So as far as the vote share calculations and other things are concerned, we have been maintaining all that. It's not that we have not been showing and we have not been reporting, and the distress we have not been reporting. The only thing which I have been always maintaining is that even after that depression, there is no personal anger against Prime Minister Modi, and opposition is unable to give a viable answer to that in terms of their leadership mandate.
Can I come in? I've heard both of you quite carefully. Yashwant, let me ask you first. When Modi centralizes politics around himself, we've all spoken about the Modi factor, and I partially agree with you and partially agree with Yogendra. The Modi factor has not vanished from large parts of India. Obviously, it is still there. But when Yogendra ji is right, कि अगर ये चुनाव 303 भी होता बीजेपी के लिए, we would have said Modi factor. तो अगर ये 272 से कम है, 240 के आसपास है, isn't that a knock to the Modi factor? Isn't that a blow for the Modi factor? Isn't that a fair question, Yashwant?
I don't know. It's a fair question. But I don't know, because that blow is coming from two concentrated pockets where we are looking at a very significant local factors at play. बरका, we did discuss and I said it on show कि यूपी इसलिए फंसा हुआ है क्योंकि इन्होंने बहुत ही वाहियात टिकट यूपी में बांटे हैं. UP was one state where they refused to chop the tickets
Okay.
of all the non-performing MPs. So
Okay,
my question, I understand Yogenji's point, and I have been telling all this in data. That's another thing. What my simple thing is that maybe we, just like we overanalyzed 2004 that India shining failed, we are kind of overanalyzing right now the 2024 that Modi failed. After 10 years of being in power, and if two concentrated states with things go wrong and his alliance is still getting in power, yes, moral defeat and all that wordplay, that is okay, that is fine, because I agree with Yogenji on that. For that kind of line of analysis, that it could be a moral victory and moral defeat and everything in between. But purely from the numbers perspective, Barkha, that is where I am struck. That purely from the number perspective, I don't see an all India story that something has horribly gone wrong for them all across India, or something has weirdly gone good for them.
Okay, I'll let Yogendra ji respond to this. You have said, Yogendra ji, that it is a moral defeat or it's a political defeat for the BJP and a moral defeat, or rather a personal defeat for the Prime Minister, because he made it all about himself. And had the BJP done very well, the credit would have gone to him more than to his party. The question is कि there are, अगर उत्तर प्रदेश किसी और तरफ होता, that is Yashwant's question जो मुझे समझ आ रहा है, अगर उत्तर प्रदेश किसी और तरफ होता, we'd be having a very different discussion. But I agree with you that Uttar Pradesh is actually meant to be the natural bastion of the BJP's politics, with two leaders, not even one, Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. But when Yashwant Desmukh says, what is the national story and why is it a national story, what would you say? Yogendra ji? Can we unmute Yogendra ji, please? Yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm a little surprised with the line of argument. To say, अगर उत्तर प्रदेश नहीं होता तो क्या होता? I can also say, अगर उड़ीसा नहीं होता तो अब हम क्या देख रहे होते? Which is a spectacular different thing. Odisha nahi hota, so we would have been talking about the India coalition forming the government tomorrow. So let's not get into this. What is the national story? I think I said it clearly. Yashwant Bhai, I think, is too currently involved in his exit poll. The nation did not vote on C voter. The nation voted on Narendra Modi. And no matter what C voters' forecast was, that is for you to analyze. I'm sure you would have time. You would reflect on what went right and wrong. The nation voted on Narendra Modi and BJP. That's what I'm talking about. Compared to 2019, Mr. Modi's party, BJP was actually secondary. It's Mr. Modi's party, which has systematically lost vote share. It is dramatic and drastic? No. It is serious and systematic? Yes. And I've given you figures. I don't need to repeat it. In that entire geography, the only exception being Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. Everywhere else, BJP has lost votes compared to 2019. Now, your defense, Yashwant, is that this is the third term. What else do you expect? Expect to go down? Well, if that was the case, why did the exit polls not catch it? Number two, if he was going down and we got it, if you are willing to consider these extenuating circumstances, as it is called, why not also consider the fact that Mr. Modi's party was backed by the entire media of this country, which is unprecedented? Why not consider the fact that he had access to money of a kind which is unknown? Why not consider the fact that Election Commission was so partisan? Why not consider the fact that ED and IT were working in the way they were? And if in this circumstance, with this kind of a lead, with this kind of a stranglehold, if he loses 60 seats, this is clearly a political defeat. What else is it? And why are you getting into the, I mean, I thought I would have this kind of a debate with BJP spokesperson.
No, not at all. No, that's why I am staying clear of the political line. Yogendra, I am only talking on data. You talked about the national picture. I am talking about the national picture on the data, Yogendra. That BJP's vote share has
read out what, in case you did not read it last time, allow me to read out the numbers once again for you. Uttar Pradesh, this is loss of BJP or NDA vote share across that entire belt compared to 2019, because that's the only comparison which we make.
The, th- the
UP
thing is that you
8%,
are comparing
Maharashtra
only the
9%,
belt
West
where
अच्छा
we
Bengal
lost the vote.
6%, Bihar 9%,
नहीं,
हाँ,
that's fine.
Karnataka
I don't
6%,
want him to read
Rajasthan
out. I can
10%,
read out the
Himachal
states
Pradesh
where BJP has
14%,
gained the votes.
Uttarakhand
okay, okay.
4%, Delhi 4%, Haryana 12%, Jharkhand 8%. If this is not a uniform swing, what else are we talking about? I'm absolutely astonished to hear
So
this, Yashwant bhai.
is now South not part of India, Yogenji, where there is a massive uniform swing in favor of the BJP in so many states? So
Yashwant,
national
that's
vote
why
share
I'm
of
speaking.
BJP compared to last time has gone up. If
Yashwant
we are
bhai, you
talking
did
about
not
the
have the
national
time to
picture,
listen to what I'm saying. Please
अच्छा
listen to me
one at
carefully.
a time, both of you, please.
Please
Okay,
listen to me
Yogendra ji. हाँ,
carefully. In
हाँ.
fact, I had said you probably didn't get the time. I think it might take some time to come out of the exit poll shock. But I had clearly said from Karnataka and Maharashtra till Bihar and Jharkhand. This is the territory I had defined. And this is the territory where BJP had done exceptionally well last time. So my argument was, and as you would recall, we were with Barkha on that show a few days
Yeah,
ago, where I
yeah.
had said BJP is likely to improve its vote share in the entire coastal belt, which is where it has indeed done. So, what is the national
exactly.
story? The national story is that the entire geography, the largest geography of this country, which trusted Modi and BJP almost blindly last time, all over that area, BJP is coming down. In some cases, it leads to loss of seats. In other cases, it's loss of votes, but no loss of seats. In the coastal belt, the BJP, and if you remember, last time also I had said I would exclude Bengal from that because I don't see gains for them in Bengal. I had said that in the show as well. But I had said from Kerala to Odisha, I see gains for BJP. So places where BJP had not saturated, BJP has gained in those areas. And the entire region which was the heartland, the strongest area of BJP, and the base for their political dominance, all those places BJP has systematically lost votes.
Would it
Why
if
are
I
we
can
wasting time on
if
debating such elementary
yeah,
facts?
yeah, yeah, okay, let's look
It's
ahead.
okay.
Can we look ahead, because exit poll
No, no,
data
no, no.
maybe
I mean,
I
me and
huh.
Yogenji, I always end up learning something from him. So I always regard him for that. And certain points we agree to disagree. That's okay. I mean, I'm taking away from the political points. I'm looking only at the numbers. If they are giving me a national story, and he has a different take on it, that's fine. We will explore it further. If he is right,
Okay.
I would accept he is right.
Okay. Let's spend just a couple of few minutes that we have left with both of you to look at politics ahead. Okay, we've spoken about the numbers. You've both given your perspectives. What happens now? Yogendra ji, I'll start with you. It is most likely going to be an NDA government. Most likely, it is going to be an NDA government. I don't know for sure. There could be permutations, combinations, but जो मुझे लग रहा है कि NDA की सरकार होगी. Do you expect the prime minister to be the same? Will Modi remain the prime minister? Or do you expect a churn within the BJP? Do you expect a churn within the alliance? Question one. Coupled with that is, if it is an NDA government, what is the role of the India alliance over the next few years?
Barkha, I'm actually particularly bad at forecasting these things. This has never been my forte. Understanding what happens in the power corridors of Delhi, I've been very poor at it. I can't guess it. My own sense is that yes, currently, as I look at the screen, it's 295 seats for NDA. But I do remember the fact that this 295 includes almost 17, 18 seats, possibly for Chandrababu Naidu, and probably 15, 16 seats for Nitish Kumar. And if you look at their record and their relationship with Mr. Modi, you would see why you cannot take it for granted. So I'm not sure. We'll find out by the evening. To me, that's not the most important thing in life. And I kept saying again and again, Kaun banega Pradhan Mantri is not the most important question for me in this election. For me, this election was about the fate of democracy, fate of constitution, fate of the very spirit of India. 2 or 3 things I'm sure of. Number one, no party that comes to power dare touch the constitution in its essentials. Modi or no Modi. Darenge, panga nahi lenge koi aage se, number one. Number two, and incidentally, I should also point out, now that Mr. Taney is trailing, No political party will dare take panga with farmers. There's a farmer story here, which we should see. East Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, West UP. Just look at the farmer story. No political leader would have the courage, but these are minor things. Most importantly, I see our democratic system, our constitutional democracy being restored somewhat. We have recovered our republic at least by a few degrees. How? I expect media to have some voice. थोड़ा उनके गले में आवाज आ जाएगी. 2-4 साल से बेचारे बोल नहीं पा रहे थे. थोड़ी सी आवाज आएगी. पोस्टर्स में भी थोड़ी ज्यादा आवाज आ जाएगी. ऐसी मेरी उम्मीद आ रही है. But that's very important because the manner in which the entire media had surrendered to the BJP was most disgraceful. Number one. Number two, I expect the judiciary to pick up some strength. I expect judiciary to be able to read a few things on the letter and spirit of the Constitution, which they have been oblivious of. I expect the entire system to be slightly more open, to become slightly more democratic. And I expect voices of resistance to become stronger. All this is great news for democracy. That is what I care most for.
I
As
think
for
you
the
had.
role of India
I think you had called it a return to normal politics.
Yes, and the return to normal politics is, as I said, democracy is saved not by high principles of liberal democracy, which most people don't understand. Democracy is saved by the quotidian, everyday, petty, normal politics. Return to that politics from that high crescendo, almost a frenzy-like situation in which the country was placed. Return to normal politics is actually great news. Return to normal politics means that anyone would have to perform. You cannot keep distracting people on Ram Mandir one day, Pulwama the other day. You have to perform. And in many cases, BJP perform. And whatever votes BJP still gets is because they have delivered in some cases. Let's admit it. So this is politics of those things, which is again a great news for this country. You have to work and you have to win votes. That's a decent thing. BJP will have to do the same. The idea that you could say, Mangal Sutra, Mutton, Musalman, and you can weigh the whole country around. That does not work. And what a good news it is for this country. Otherwise, what kind of a gutter we were coming into in this country? I must register the fact that the Election Commission of India has played the gentlemen who occupy the seats in the Election Commission of India have played an utterly disgraceful role in this election. I do hope that now they either quietly resign or they start behaving themselves.
They would, in fact, say that what has happened today proves that they have run a completely fair system. They would make the opposite argument.
It shows that the system works despite them. There is Form 17C, and when the entire controversy was going on, I said, मुझे इलेक्शन कमीशन की नियत पे भरोसा नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे चुनाव के नियम पे भरोसा है, Form 17C पे भरोसा है. So if we are there, it's not because of these three gentlemen, but it is because of Form 17C. And about electronic voting machine, yes. Should we say thank you very much, sir? You have not manipulated the electoral voting machine. Should we be thanking the election commission, or should we be asking them questions about? You were the ones who were meant to implement the model code of conduct. What did you do about it? What was your role when the Prime Minister of India was going around saying things which are not only violative of model code of conduct, which are utterly illegal, and by the Supreme Court orders, these are things that you should be prosecuted about. What was what was the Election Commission doing? And writing those letters to Mallikarjun Kharge and Jairam Ramesh. I mean, who in the world are you to write letters to political parties to say, reply by 7 o'clock, otherwise we'll take action? Who are you to take action? Do you have a power of prosecuting people on contempt? Are you the Supreme Court of India? I hope all this nonsense will come to an end now.
Yashwant, let me bring you in. Yogendra ji has been arguing in fairness to him through the campaign that he senses a return to normal politics. I have been reporting in all my travels that I saw no takers for the Hindu-Muslim divisiveness that we saw in Modi's speech. BJP's own voters said, "Bas karo yaar, bas karo, kam karo, khatam karo, ye nahi sunna hame." And I'm talking about BJP voters, not Modi critics, right, Yashwant?
Right.
What is the big takeaway from?
Absolutely.
What is the big takeaway for you? What is the takeaway from?
Two things. two things. That first of all, I just hope that the attack on the ECI as an institution stops. I just hope the question marks are once and for all not put on the EVMs. I just hope that they are given their due as well. Because I listened to what Yogendra said, but I believe that institution is much bigger than the individuals. ECI उस समय इलेक्शन, भारत की जनता तब भी वोट दे के आके अपनी बात बोल गई थी जिस समय नवीन चावला भी अंदर थे. तो अगर नवीन चावला उसका कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाए और लोग नहीं बिगाड़ पाए तो आगे भी कोई और कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ पाएगा. So let's leave it at that election commission and the election system of India has worked. I think that is the biggest story out here, and let's give them the due. The way they have.
Let me ask. Yeah, sorry, you're saying something, Yashwant? Complete your point. Sorry. Yeah.
Second thing, I still believe that there is no national story in that, because somebody winning an election in a state with 65% and this time polling 55%, which we have been reporting all along, I still have to find a one uniform thing. But one thing which I do agree with Yogendra here is that politics will become normal, because it was a one-sided, two-aberration politics. But Yogendra, we have to also think that kind of politics is one-sided in almost all the states as well. It's one-sided in Bengal as well, one-sided in Tamil Nadu as well, one-sided in Delhi as well. So I think the normalcy or abnormal politics was not just national, it was a state politics also abnormal in that sort. So I'm happy when I agree with you that normalcy will return, because in a healthy democracy, we do need a very, very good opposition to keep the government on the tenterhooks.
So this was going to be my last. Yeah, this was going to be my last question to both of you. So let me ask Yashwant, and then Yogendra, you can have the closing word. How will politics change? Right? How will politics? देखिए, forget कौन बनेगा, किसकी सरकार, कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री. Something will shift. Very interesting things have already shifted. The divide in the Dalit vote, right? The Samajwadi Party going beyond its traditional strongholds. The localization in many places, the successful localization of a national election. How do you see politics shifting? Let's talk about politics, Yashwant, and then I'll give Yogendra ji the closing word. Yeah.
Two things very quickly, Barkha. One thing which I feel politics is shifting towards the delivery of the governance and Labharti, be it state, be it national. At this point of time, all the politicians have learned that trick and art of putting across a scheme. But the thing is, they have to deliver on that as well. So whomsoever is delivering is winning the state and the national mandate. That's one thing that is gonna grow up. The biggest silver lining is the rejection of the politics of polarization. That's for me, it's a big thing. And because in the numbers also people have been saying ये बहुत ज़्यादा हिंदू मुसलमान हो रहा है. So I hope from here those who are on the right of the spectrum, they will take a cue कि ये एक सीमा तक चलता है, इससे ज़्यादा लोग इसको बर्दाश्त नहीं करते हैं. I hope that politics of normalcy also returns on that. Number one. Number two, ये किसकी डिफीट किसका वो ये एक अलग बात है, लेकिन एक चीज तो तय है कि हमने ये देखा था कि एजेंसीज का मिसयूज हो रहा है. पब्लिक बहुत तादाद में कह रही थी कि एजेंसीज का मिसयूज हो रहा है. इट वाज अ क्वेश्चन in our India Today MOTN every time, and overwhelming majority said that the agencies ka misuse ho raha hai. I feel that now that the BJP does not have a majority of its own, that misuse apparently might stop. Hopefully it will stop, because that certainly is a wrong thing to do, and it's a wrong practice in any democracy.
Okay, Yogendra, I'm going to give you the closing word. Please go ahead.
Very happy to hear that Yashwant actually feels that misuse of agencies is a bad thing, because I was beginning to worry that it was becoming me versus the BJP spokesperson thing. But I'm very happy that it ends on a lovely note.
That's under the belt, Yogendra. That's under the belt. I'm not expecting. Yogendra, you have joined politics. I have not joined politics. No, please don't do that. I respect you for what you are. You have been my senior. But let's not do. No, I'm not a politician, Yogendra. You don't have to. No. मैं पॉलिटिशियन नहीं हूँ, योगेंद्र, मुझे पॉलिटिशियन की तरह मत ट्रीट कीजिए प्लीज. आप पॉलिटिक्स में गए, मुझे उससे बाहर रखिए प्लीज.
Fair enough. चलिए योगेंद्र जी बोलिए.
Almost not seen that. I'm very happy to discover that. Because as I said, like people like me have declared that I'm a political worker. These are my leanings, and this is, you take me seriously or not. That's for you to decide. I really hope that pollsters start doing the same. But just to end on a lighter note, why get into this bitterness? I traveled to Uttar Pradesh, and I wrote a tweet after traveling to Uttar Pradesh कि उत्तर प्रदेश में इस बार भूचाल आने वाला है. I said it on I think 16th of April or so. I had said Uttar Pradesh में भूचाल आने वाला है. And my tweet had lovely reactions, one of which was from Yashwant Desmukh. I'm not reading my tweet, that's useless. Yashwant Bhai's reaction is lovely. He said, अभी तो 50 सीट पर भाजपा को अकेले दम खुद रोक रखा है योगेंद्र जी ने.
Yes, I did that.
जी घसीट कर 40 तक ला रहे हैं. दिग्विजय जी 30 पर लाके पटकेंगे. फिर मणिशंकर जी भाजपा का 20 तक कचूमर बना देंगे. 5 सीट का स्कोप अधीर बाबू के लिए. I love that humor.
Exactly.
Let's continue in that spirit of humor. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will end. We will end on, I hope, a somewhat more convivial note than we began on. Both of you have placed your points. We both like to listen to both of you, learn from both of you. One sentence each to both of you. If you were the Prime Minister today, just before I say goodbye, Yashwant, if you were Prime Minister Modi today, what would you be thinking you should do next?
If I was the Prime Minister today, if you are talking an individualistic question, Barkha, that is what me as an individual would be thinking.
Yeah,
I would have probably hang up my boots.
That's very important. You're saying if you were the Prime Minister, you would not go for a third term with these.
It's for me, and as I'm not,
you Yashwant, you Yashwant. I know. You're not making a predictive or a prescriptive comment. You're saying
I'm not judging anybody what they would do. I'm saying
अगर आप मोदी जी की जगह में होते, आप Yashwant, you would have hung up your boots, right?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yogendra ji, if you were Prime Minister today, what would you take away from this result?
So fortunately, we end on a note of consensus. I think if I was the Prime Minister, if I had put in this kind of effort, if I had these many resources, and if I had this kind of result, and if I had any tiny bit of conscience left, I would say, thank you very much. I step aside. I invite someone else to take over and do justice to the country. 10 years is a long time. And, I'm told Modi ji works very hard. I'm told he works 18 hours a day. So working for 10 years, 18 hours a day is a very tiresome exercise. I think he deserves some rest now.
Okay, we end on a note of agreement. Or what both of you would have done in his place, that may not be what happens. My own sense is we will be looking at an NDA government, but a very different NDA government. And one thing we didn't get to speak about, the first thing that will change is a change inside Parliament. The kind of agendas that could be put forth by the BJP unilaterally will no longer be possible. The BJP will, at these numbers, need the approval of its own allies, if they remain its allies, on several more contentious issues. I wanted to say thank you to them. They suddenly went away somewhere. Can we just bring them back for a moment? Let me please say thank you to them. I don't see them anymore. Yogendra ji and Yashwant.
I can see you.
Okay. You suddenly vanished. I said, गुस्से में ना चला क्या हो कोई? एकदम से आप vanish.
योगेंद्र जी मुझसे नाराज नहीं हो सकते. Don't worry. मैं छोटा हूँ, मैं शरारत करने का मेरा अधिकार है. बड़ा क्षमा बड़न को चाहिए. योगेंद्र जी मुझसे नाराज नहीं हो सकते.
चलिए. Thank you so much to both of you.
I enjoy humor, so I was just remembering humor.
Okay.
Good thing to have humor in politics.
It is good always to never lose sight of humor, and also never lose sight of the infinite wisdom and the irrepressible courage of the Indian voter. ये मुझे जरूर आज कहना है. Thank you so much, Yogendra ji and Yashwant ji. We continue our special programming. You heard a very, very interesting conversation on like Yogendra Yadav called it a political defeat for the BJP and a personal defeat for the Prime Minister. Yashwant Desmukh, who was among the exit pollsters who did not get it right, felt that the outlier states were in Uttar Pradesh and in Bengal, but he did not see an all India picture. We are continuing our special programming. We will be we'll be joined by other guests in a moment from now. I can see Sanjay Hegde there, senior advocate. Welcome to the program. Rakesh Shetty, or leader of the Congress, is with us as well. And thank you very much, both of you. And I'm hoping that I'm waiting for the other guests. If we can have them on, please. Let's get first reactions. Rakesh ji, aapse shuru karti hu. How do you see this result?
See, if you see the result today, I think people of this country has given a clear mandate. They have rejected Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They have rejected Bharatiya Janata Party, and they have rejected the entire thought process in which this entire election they have run. Because from बचपन से हमें सिखाया गया हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई हम सब है बाई बाई, and we saw how Narendra Modi openly came out and spoke against the minority, spoke about the Muslim. And Barkha, let me just remind you, 2014 election, if we remember, Bharatiya Janata Party had got a very good mandate. But you should remember that mandate was against Congress Party, because Congress was in power. And you know that Anna Hazare, Arvind Kejriwal, at that time had run a very successful campaign. And that time the Koila Gotala ho, ya Adarsh Gotala ho, and all these corruption cases was laid against us. We have been accused. And again in 2019, if you see, Bharatiya Janata got a very good 303 seats. But in that time, there was a Pulwama Hamla, and after that, Balakot strike. So the 2019, there was a clear narrative and clear mandate for nationalism. But in this 10 years, Narendra Modi has completely failed, because people expected Narendra Modi to perform, which he has not done. You see the price rise, there was inflation. He had promised 2 crore jobs to the people of this country, never given. He promised one rank, one pension, but he has created Agnivir. Like he doesn't want to give pension to our youth. That is the reason it is a 4-year job. So there are so many things which went against him. Now we talk about this clear mandate. Now I was just listening to Yashwant Desmukh, and he say he can't see a clear picture. I think ये जितने कल exit poll हमने देखा across the country, सब news channels में, they all have failed along with Narendra Modi, because there is a clear mandate. Now in your screen I can see 297 NDA. Last election it was 303 for Bharatiya Janata Party. What else you need? People have.
But can I ask you, Rakesh ji, before I go to Sanjay Hegde and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who's just joined us, at least your suspicions, when I say your, I don't mean individually, but some of the opposition leaders were questioning the electoral process. Ab wo debate to khatam ho gayi na? Is that debate over? Is that debate? Sanjay saying no. I'm just asking Rakesh, and then I'll come to Sanjay. Is that debate behind us?
No.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? I'll tell you. I will tell you why. Now, appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner. We'll start from there. The process was clear that Chief Justice of India, leader of opposition, and the Prime Minister will choose it. What did the Prime Minister do? They voted out Chief Justice of India. Then they brought in their party colleague and they appointed them. That is one. But during this entire election, if you see, Narendra Modi ji in his speeches directly attacked minority, directly attacked Muslims, and we expected that election commissioners should send a notice to Prime Minister, but they never did that. They sent notices to JP Nadda. Why will we trust election commissioner? And secondly, if you see now across the country, let's talk about only Mumbai. Mumbai corporation election is pending. I don't know why. Why we have written again and again to election commissioner, you are conducting. During COVID times, they said because COVID is there, Mumbai corporation we are not taking up. And the way how election commission has given Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena and Ajit Pawar, this mandate is clear. If you see the Maharashtra result, they have all voted against the election commission, against Bharatiya Janata Party, against CBI, ED,
Okay.
everything.
Okay, let me, Mr. Shetty, with your permission, let me open this up now. Sanjay Hegde, let me bring you in, and then Abhijit right after. What's the big takeaway, right? There are now two narratives that are emerging. One, that since this was a Modi factor-led campaign, it is a blow to Modi. That's one narrative. The other narrative is the NDA is going to form the government. Modi is still going to be prime minister. Jo jeeta wahi Sikandar. Yes, not the result the BJP would have wanted, but it's still going to be their government. How do you see it?
Well, will the NDA last? I was getting that old slogan, "Nitish
Yes.
sabke hai," and you must remember that Nitish in 2014 said he would not work under Modi, and he said it at several times. So there's a personality issue there. Then we come to Chandrababu Naidu. Chandrababu Naidu will still remember that in 2004 he lost the elections in Andhra primarily because the Muslims and the minorities voted against him. This time, with the Kapu Kamma consolidation, he has won the election, but he will still want to carry everybody along. So if there is any kind of national consensus minus Modi, that is the way I see things moving forward.
But who will forge this national consensus? Because you can't tell the BJP who their leader should be, just like we can't tell the Congress who their leader should be, right?
No, listen, politicians are much smarter than we commentate or we journalists figure them out to be. They are already working the lines. And within the BJP itself, you see, the world doesn't like losers. And if there has been a loser in this election after the Election Commission of India, it has been Mr. Modi, who said 400 par. 400 par isn't not only not happening, but there is a vigorous block against that. So it is quite likely that within the party itself, many people who have been at the receiving end of a particularly acerbic tongue and a particularly dominating nature are all going to say that, look, the mandate is not for you. And there is one historical precedent also. You must remember that in 1989, Rajiv Gandhi and the Congress were the single largest party. But Rajiv Gandhi declined an invitation from the president saying that the mandate was against the Congress. So I would wait for the game to emerge, let the results come out fully, and if the BJP is at 230 or so, I would not be surprised if you even have a non-NDA government.
Right. Let me take that to Abhijit. Abhijit, is that a possibility? If we're looking at a 297 for the NDA, a 227 for the India Alliance, and can I please have the latest individual seats? The BJP was hovering a little below 240 when I last checked. It's going to be a little bit of time before we have the absolute final figures. And of course, speculation discussions have begun. Will Chandrababu stay with the BJP? Will Nitish Kumar, known for being able to change sides, stay with the BJP? What do you think? Do you first accept that this is a personal defeat for Modi, even if the NDA is in a position to form the government?
Yes, I think it's
You
quite
do?
an emphatic defeat. It doesn't matter
For
if the NDA
for Modi, for Modi.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there's any denying that.
Yeah.
It is an absolute defeat for Modi. It's a defeat for the BJP for sure. That said, I never trusted Nitish Kumar anyway. The whole calculus of getting him in was that he'll probably get some seats in Bihar. The caste calculus will add up, and the BJP will be crossing the 272 mark. At which point, Nitish does not have much to bargain with. I think the issue now getting him over to the Indie camp is, by himself, he doesn't have enough votes, the seats, the way the Trinamool Congress and the Samajwadi Party do. So what's going to end up happening there is only so many people you can make deputy prime minister or whatever. No? So what will Nitish Kumar then settle for at the center? I don't know. Who's going to give it
Right.
to him? I think
Right.
Nitish is the most slippery character. Chandrababu Naidu might be the most hurt character because he's had that sort of feeling that he was let down by the BJP, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
So, do I think? Uh, I think BJP anyway. Anything under 272 for the BJP was always going to be unstable.
So you believe that even if it's an NDA government, it's not a government that can last long.
Look, I mean, Narasimha Rao lasted the whole 5 years by
True.
breaking up parties and things like that. Now we need to remember the BJP is very good at breaking up parties and bringing over MPs and so on and so forth. So I don't know
Yeah.
what I mean. That's phase two. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves out there, but it may even be a stable government. I don't know. I think right now every bet is up in the air.
Can we talk a little bit about the bastion? Shashi Tharoor is leading in Trivandrum. He was trailing earlier today, but he seems to have caught up. The seats are going up and down because the counting is still on. Abhijit, before I go back to Sanjay and Rakesh Shetty of the Congress, the fact that the BJP received this body blow in Uttar Pradesh, where it not just has the Modi factor, but also the Yogi factor, the double engine sarkar, as it was often called by the BJP, that this was seen to be the natural sort of laboratory for the BJP, that this was where the Ram Mandir was, the consecration ceremony of the Mandir took place. All of this, I mean, it's not just that they've slipped below the majority mark. They've slipped below the majority mark essentially because of Uttar Pradesh. I mean, that is hugely significant.
I think so. It's even Bengal. I think maybe we could have predicted it given the way Mamata Banerjee wiped out their cadre after the 2021 assembly election. UP, I did not see this coming. I was expecting reverses, like I said, in Bihar and Haryana and especially Maharashtra. UP, I did not see coming at all, especially not on the back of the Ram Mandir. But clearly something is at work. The issue is, by this evening, there'll be a narrative that we lost because of 400 par or whatever. The BJP will, maybe the Congress will start it and the BJP will agree, or maybe the BJP will start it and the Congress will agree. And it becomes like India shining. I think you go back to India shining, and we now know almost conclusively that India shining did not result in that defeat. That defeat was something completely different, because even at that point, the Congress, even in the previous election, in the 1919 election, the Congress had 20 million more votes than the BJP. The BJP was at 80 million, the Congress was at 20 million. In the 2004 election, there was a drop of voters. The BJP actually lost less vote share than the Congress did. But because the Congress had a brute force majority, 20 million votes is a brute force majority, the Congress won that election. Here, what is stunning here is that the Congress had 119 million votes. The BJP had 230 million votes the last time. This is like, this is 100% increase in votes. So even that voter drop shouldn't have technically affected it. But what happened in UP, I don't know. We will get a lot of chaff today. Maybe it'll last for a whole week, but I think it'll take a full month or so to figure out what happened, which caste dynamic abandoned who.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's early impressions that the Dalit vote possibly got divided. I'm not saying it shifted lock, stock, and barrel, but the Dalit vote certainly did get divided. Rakesh Shetty, I have a different question for you. If the NDA forms the government, does the India Alliance remain the India Alliance? What happens now?
No, we have seen no, India alliance will be intact, and it is very difficult. As I see the numbers right now, 297 for NDA. One thing is sure, Narendra Modi has been rejected, and secondly, we have seen the working of BJP and RSS. It is a clear picture. If NDA forms a government, Narendra Modi will not be the prime minister, and I don't think that collision will last, because you talk about Maharashtra, you talk about Bihar, you talk about Andhra Pradesh. This partner have joined the coalition only because of ED, CBI, and income tax. That's what we experienced in Maharashtra also. You are very well aware what happened in Maharashtra. the people were sent ED notices. They later were joined the government and has become ministers. Ashok Chavan in 2014, Narendra Modi spoke about other scam, and today they sent Ashok Chavan to Rajya Sabha. And we see, and the one more thing, Yashwant Desmukh was talking about. I don't see a clear picture
National
about
picture.
the national picture. Corruption is the national picture because no one spoke about, no media spoke about electoral bond, but the people sitting in UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, everyone has a social media. The messages were going, videos was happening. Mainstream media, which we call as Godi media, they never spoke about that. But if you see the Instagram or Facebook, organically BJP and Narendra Modi was getting trolled. One more fact I will tell you. Bharatiya Janata Party has more than 9 lakh workers across the country working on their social media team. And Supriya Sineth just have 50 people in our office working in that team. But this time, if you see, the public have trolled BJP. And corruption is an issue because people saw that 2,500 crores which Bharatiya Janata Party received, these are those 15 companies whose ED and CBI cases are pending. So this is a clear cut case of corruption. And yesterday when this exit poll were going on, today market
Yeah.
have dropped by 2,000 points. Small retail investors have lost their money. They have lost like something like, if you see the BSE and NSE, small traders have lost it. And because of Amit Shah, as per SEBI guidelines, it is clear you can't ask any person to or recommend to either to buy or sell a stock. Amit Shah on national television said, आप 4 तारीख से पहले बाई कर लो, 4 तारीख के बाद बढ़ेगा. Today is 4th. Just see, people have lost their money because of Amit Shah, and SEBI should book Amit Shah for this because this money is
Okay.
gone. They are
Okay, we've gone kind of all over the place. We'll discuss the I just want to bring in what happened to Sanjay Hegde. Guruvaji, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Say something. I can't hear you. That's why I want you to say something.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Big picture. Telangana. It's your party has gained, but the Congress has also held on to 8 seats.
Yes.
Are you disappointed? Are you disappointed?
No, we are not disappointed. With Telangana concerned, we doubled the seats, so we are happy about it. I'm only disappointed with the numbers at the national level so far. We were
Yeah.
expecting 350 plus, and then we are minus 49. That's something to be concerned about. But nevertheless, we're going to form the government again. And I'm sure all those reforms and development work will continue under Modi's regime. Only aspect is that, probably we need to, double check and cross check back what's happening, what went wrong with the North Indian, vote bank, why we were able to, perform or underperform, I would say. But the increase in number of seats from Kerala and increase in number of seats from Telangana, it's an added advantage. And then, Telangana being the gateway of South India, I'm sure it's going to be a very bright future for Bharatiya Janata Party as well as the people of South Indians, AP and Telangana both. AP, where NDA is swept, left, right, and center. Now Chandrababu Naidu probably is being invited as convener of the NDA, and I'm sure South will be the focus for next generations, and the economic scale would be, at a much higher scale. Growing
So that's
rapidly.
very, very interesting that Chandra Babu as convener of the NDA. Some would say that it's the way to keep him in your fold.
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's quite honest. Can we come out so I can see my guests? Yes, Sanjay Hegde. Just end with some 2 quick last comments from you and Abhijit.
It's an understanding.
Yes,
The
sir.
NDA alliance allies. Now that's there would be no change in the understanding. There would be no change in the alliance as such.
Okay, sorry, he's on a terrible network, but he was kind of honest in saying he was disappointed that Chandrababu Naidu is likely to be the convener of the NDA. And yes, is that a way to keep him with you? Yes, of course. Okay, quick last word to you, Abhijit, and then Sanjay. this idea that if it's an NDA government, somebody else will be the prime minister. We're hearing this from a number of people today, from Sanjay Hegde, from other opposition leaders, that even the RSS, other BJP leaders may want their payback moment with Modi, whether it's a Gadkari, even Yogi Adityanath, no love lost even between Yogi Adityanath and Narendra Modi. Do you think that there's any chance that if it's an NDA government, somebody else could be the prime minister?
Yeah,
Really?
always. I absolutely. I don't think it's likely, but could it happen? Yes, absolutely. I think it would. I think the issue has been when you've been used to 30 years of coalition governments, the way Modi ran his cabinet would have seemed like autocracy or whatever to everyone else, and they'll be out for their pound of flesh. I mean, this is politics after all. This isn't family relations or something like that where blood is thicker than water and all that, whatever. But I would be very skeptical about any reasons being thrown for this situation, at least for about a month, till we sit and go through the fine comb the statistics. I don't think we're going to get to the root of this. I can think up about 12 reasons why this happened right off the top of
Give
my
us
head.
give us three off the top of your head.
Three top of the head. Jitna hak utni abadi. Because Hindutva is about it's political Hinduism. So your Hindu identity should be over your caste. And that was a line that absolutely kind of hit at the heart of Hindutva, which was the core tenet of the BJP. So that would be number one. Number two would be poor candidate selection. There were about 35 candidates that I know of that Yogi had recommended, who all got cut off at the national level, sort of thing. The third thing that strikes me is that when they should have seen that when there is a coalition forming against you, now it's wishful thinking. You remember, Barkha, on the same program about a week or 2 weeks back, I told you that in the last election, SP and Congress coming together hadn't produced results in the assembly elections, this thing. But clearly it has. Now it's very different for me being an armchair statistician saying that it may not turn out. But they should have actually done the groundwork and seen if it was turning out. I actually have to tell you, my research assistant, who is from Amethi, he actually told me 2 weeks back, because his family is deeply involved in politics in Amethi. He told me very clearly, भैया कुछ होने वाला है, कुछ अपसेट होने वाला है. And I was like, चुप है, तेरे को क्या पता, पार्टी मेरे को बोल रहा है कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, तेरे को क्या पता. But he was right, clearly right. So where was this difference in messaging coming out? I can go on, but I mean, these were stood out.
Yeah, it's going to take time to see what happens. Sanjay, you and Abhijit have almost said similar things today. Defeat for Modi. I guess the one thing maybe you don't agree on is the election commission. Abhijit, before I give Sanjay the last word, if you want to just come in on that, do you believe the election commission has performed as it ought to have? I can't hear Abhijit. Yeah, now you're back. Yeah.
Okay, so I think they absolutely have performed exactly how they should have. This thing that had the election commission not performed, then you wouldn't be seeing these results today, right? Had everything been rigged, had DMs been called and told to fix this thing as Jairam Ramesh claimed of Amit Shah, then you would have seen very different results.
Last word to you, Sanjay Hegde. You believe, Abhijit believes, Rakesh believes some political churn could take place. I personally think that nobody walks away from power. So Mr. Modi has already dialed Chandrababu Naidu. We heard Mr. Gurva Reddy saying that Chandrababu is likely to be the NDA convener. Nobody wants to give up power, even if it's a truncated power. But things will change inside Parliament, inside the BJP. Things will change. What is the big change that you see after this result?
No, nobody will want to give up power, but they can be made to. They can be made to.
Yeah.
Richard Nixon thought that.
Sanjay, your voice has gone suddenly. Yeah, now you're back. Sorry. Yeah.
A group of Republicans led by Barry Goldwater told him, no, the thing is gone off. You have to resign. So when power dies, it dies suddenly. And there are so many people whom the two top men have rubbed the wrong way, that everybody is waiting to administer a push, if not the final push. So I do expect that what is going to happen is that specifically within the RSS, which will not want a non-BJP government in its 100th year, which is coming next year. So it may well be that right from within there, the signal will come, and as a disciplined Karyakarta, Mr. Modi will have to step aside.
Well, we simply don't know. We have to watch this space. The final counting is going to determine, the final tally rather, is going to determine a whole lot of things. Currently, the NDA is below 300. And I think we can all agree that in a Modi-centric campaign, in which, I remember I was asking a BJP leader that in my travels, I didn't see any one national issue. And he said, why? Modi is the issue. Now, by making Modi the issue, these numbers then become, a personal defeat for the Prime Minister, because he was placed at the center of the campaign. He placed himself at the center of the campaign. But all of the other questions, who will form the government, who will be Prime Minister, will it be Modi, what will be the nature of opposition politics, will there be a churn? We've got to wait for the final tally in the next few days to understand. Thank you very much, Sanjay Hegde, Rakesh Shetty and Abhijit Iyer. Thank you to our audience. You've watched us since 7:30 in the morning. There's a lot more analysis coming up. We'll take a short break, but we'll be back very soon. So do keep watching our special broadcasts and programs. Thank you for watching. Take care. We're at the Indian mainland's southernmost tip in Kanyakumari, the confluence of the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. It is from here that we're beginning our big road trip to the heart and the soul of India, Awaaz of Democracy. That's all about traveling thousands of kilometers to look at the food, the fun, the festivity, the flavors of this election, but also, of course, to tell the stories of you the people, of we the people. At Mojo Story, we have always gone to where the story is. It could be the battlefields of Israel and Gaza, it could be the conflict zone of Manipur, or it could be the sorrow and the tragedy of COVID. We think of all of you as members of our community, of our family. So, I'm urging you and requesting you today to help us tell your stories and our stories. So do become a Mojo member. Support and power our storytelling, but also get first access to our big interviews, our special ground reports, our town halls, and also have the opportunity to ask our newsmakers questions directly, as well as get published on our platform. Become a Mojo member, click on the link below, and see you soon.